I'm excited to be here today to interview one of our authors from the third book in the Changing Work Collective book series, which is titled Are We Friends or Coworkers? Exploring Relationships at Work, publishing on May 30th, 2025. I'm Karen Frozio, and I'm a volunteer host and member of changingwork.org, as well as a contributing author in the second book of the Changing Work Collective series, which was also an Amazon bestseller entitled Leading with Compassion, Cultivating Connection from the Inside Out. And you can find our books on bookshop.org or Amazon. I live in Atlantic Beach, Florida, and I'm the founder of Revive Joy. I work with organizations to ensure that team members have the tools that they need to thrive both personally and professionally without burning out while supporting the corporate mission. And after 35 years of working as a senior leadership roles in corporate America, my interest was really piqued by the topic of this book because relationships are the workplace. No matter our title or our industry, the quality of our connections at work often shape everything. In today's world of rapid change and hybrid work locations and remote work locations, navigating team dynamics and work relationships with intention and care, I don't think it's just a nice to have anymore, but it's really essential. So for anybody who's listening that might be unfamiliar with the Changing Work Collective, we're an online community of individuals who are committed to conscious business practices and changing work from the inside out. So today we're going to be discussing book number 3 from the collective with one of the 24 contributing authors, Weike Liu, whose chapter is entitled Following the Heart's Guidance, A Journey of Trust and Transformation. And I know there were some themes that really stood out to me from her chapter on the importance of adaptability, vulnerability, and mutual trust. And so I really look forward to hearing more from Weike on these topics. So I'd love to just get an introduction, if you could share with our listeners today, Weike, and just tell us about yourself and then what inspired you to write your chapter in Are We Friends or Coworkers?
Hi, thank you, Karen. And my name is Weike. I'm really glad to be here. And also, I'm really nervous because English is not my first language. And I'm from China. A few years ago, I immigrated to Canada. Now I'm living in Montreal, Canada, with my 2 kids. Writing a book. Actually, a few years ago, I had this thought. I want to write my own book. But when you are new immigrant in a new country with 2 young kids, life is really hard. But I don't want to give up my inside dreams. So I still hear time to time, my soul was knocking. You should write, you should write. But I think, how? I'm so busy. But last year, I joined a program called Inner MBA. And I got this chance, structural in the collective changing work announced that they had this program called writing a book. For me, it was, oh my goodness, that's a good chance for me because writing a one chapter, it's easier than I committed to write the whole book. So for me, I say, oh, I will take this chance to try it out if I can master my not first language with all the nervous and the stress. Can I really do it? Yes, here I am. I finish, I complete. I'm so excited. I am prepared for my next one.
Nice.
And for my background, I've been a meditation practice and yoga practice for many decades. And also I am a healing practitioner with different methods. So right now I try to figure out what I can contribute
Mhm.
for the human life, for the community, for my own well-being and people around me, family, friends. Then I really realize if we can contribute something really nurturing ourselves, talking with ourselves in the relationship, we can make more harmony, compassion, mindful. It's a really good things we can do in this timing in this world. So that's why I'm here to share my story with everyone.
Beautiful. And through your years, is you've had also obviously had the opportunity to work with a lot of different people and a lot of different personalities. So I'm sure you have some great insight on this topic. Your chapter was really inspiring. You had the courage to share about an inner struggle that you experienced and how ultimately listening to yourself and to others resulted in things going even better than you had ever expected. Could you tell us a little bit more about what you were referring to? Particularly, I remember you used the phrase listening wholeheartedly.
Yes, because I think every obstacle in human life, whatever challenge we called it, usually we've been blind, we feel we are unsafe. So that's something block for us, but with the many decades mindfulness practice, I learned how to observe all this difficult time with compassion, to let it be, because there's a common sense or wisdom there. It's everything is changing. Nothing can stay stern like that. So if we can just let it be with compassion and love, the thing will shift. And the things we feel we are mostly scared for, we think will never overcome. If we can be patiently stay there, just observe. You
Mhm.
will feel the magic happen. That's what happened to me. I
Mhm.
really just stay there with my inner child, my wound, my trauma. I just say, okay, I hear you. I know. I'm here with you. Then the things shift. I had
Mhm.
the courage to really like telling my friend, true myself. Then the thing just changed. I didn't
Mhm.
expecting the thing be changed. I didn't use the controlling. Just let
Mhm.
it be. So it's like a magic. But
Mhm.
you do need a really big courage to do that.
For sure. It takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable and to stay in places that are uncomfortable to us. So, can you tell us a little bit more about working with others? Your experience with that topic of friends, or are they just are they just coworkers? Are they just friends? And I know you had some unique relationships because leaning into friends for advice on business and things like that, that can be scary and then hard to sometimes know when to take advice, right, from others or not. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Yeah, I think here is something very important. I mean, many people think if a friend involved with your business, it can be really tricky, you know. So here is you have to settling the healthy boundary, like I share in the chapter. I let them know my vulnerability, honestly, but also I let them know what I don't want from them. So that's a settling, you know what you want to take, and you know there's something you have to remind your coworker, your friend to respect that boundary so that you can build whatever the business model or your community to be really healthy growing.
That's beautiful. I know a lot of people in general in life have difficulty with boundaries. They're nervous about setting them and they feel like they're going to put people off when they set a boundary. And I know that at least I found in my life, the more I set boundaries, the better I get at it, the more comfortable I get. And there's obviously different ways to say it than just no, don't want to hear that, don't want your advice, or no, no, many other phrases to use. So I'm curious, you obviously found that setting boundaries were very beneficial, right? And they weren't detrimental to your relationships. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
Mhm.
For me, I realize what is very important. You just has to ask yourself, what is your intention? Your intention just want to win, or you want to take advantage, or you want to thrive from both sides. If you only think about yourself, well, there's no healthy boundary. But you left yourself, just think about others. Oh, I'm sorry too. There's no healthy boundary too. Even you give up everything, but in the end will be really messy. So
Mhm.
that's why we have to think about both sides to think how we can grow healthy with each other. That's the intention. I believe you can settle in this intention. You can have any good relationship with work, your friend, your spouse, your kids.
Mhm.
Yes, I believe that.
Clarifying that what the intent is and setting those boundaries in advance, yeah, and communicating. That's lovely. Have you found that your perspective on that has changed at all over time?
Yes, of course. I realize, just like what I share in my chapter, healing is a journey. That can be really scary with the person who feels, I want to know myself, but I don't want to know myself. I know many people was struggling with that. So, oh, no, 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 no. I had enough. I had a busy day. I don't want to look for my traumas. But as my own personal journey and the growth and my adventure with spirit path, I feel if you really, honestly, sincerely look inward, your authentic self, that could be your lifetime most valuable investment. Because eventually you will find as much as you can be honestly within yourself, you will be more beneficial with everything come to your life. You will feel more fulfillment for your
Mhm.
own life. That's the point.
Mhm.
And you will not living with the outcome circumstance because you are in your court, your
Mhm.
authentic self. So
Mhm.
yes, the world are changed. They always have something dramatic,
Mhm.
some terrible things. Life is like that.
Mhm.
There's no perfect life.
I found it interesting in your chapter how you were seeking advice from friends about your business, um, but you weren't always hearing what you wanted or felt you needed to hear. But you leaned into that, again, discomfort, and recognized that they might have some knowledge that you might not. And you took what you felt was beneficial from those conversations, even though it sometimes is uneasy, right? When our friends are our coworkers and we hear things that we might not want to hear, you were able to take that and incorporate it and kind of find the best of both, right? Like those puzzle pieces coming together. Your best, prettiest puzzle image, desires what you were seeking for, and the best advice they could offer. And you created, it sounds like a beautiful picture, beautiful business from that. Yeah.
I feel absolutely nobody, even just I write in the chapter very honestly, I do not like anybody disagree with me. I think nobody like that. What? You think I'm crazy? I'm not crazy. You are the crazy ones. But go through many decades practice and understand myself. I know that's the human nature. Everybody was like that. More you practice, more you know yourself. It doesn't mean I lost all the upside down emotionally. No, I'm same people, but it just I can be allowed. Okay, now I'm really mad. I really doesn't like that. But this will not take me out. I will not out of my center. I can coming back. That's the main point. I'm not to change because of the practice. I become, oh, yes, everything's fine. No, it's not like that. So I think for me, that's the most valuable compassion I learned. Yes, I'm human. I get mad. I get upset, but there's something more.
And it is interesting because if we don't share that with others, it can cause everything to blow up, can't it?
Yes.
And you gave another example, I remember in your chapter a little bit later in your business. Tell us a little about that, where
Yes.
something came to a head again, and you really had to share in order to bring your desire, the good to fruition there. And yeah, tell us a little bit about that. I thought
Yes.
it was interesting.
I think I want to share with very interesting angle about this part because before I really open up with my now partner, the work partner,
Mhm.
I really struggled. I think if I say this, maybe you and many of the practitioner will really resonate. I think, oh my goodness, I practice over 20 years. Now I have deep doubt. I have a lot of fears. I feel I'm a loser. How come? Yeah, that's true. I told myself, okay, now it's a real practice. Can you accept that? Wake up. I talk with myself.
Of course.
I say, yes, my love, I accepting you.
Mhm.
Yes, I know exists. I know there's a big fear. I know you want to protect me, but I can beyond that, right? I take a really big courage and with a lot of help. I go to see my practitioner, acupuncture. I talk with my support group. I talk with my friend. Finally, so that's why I said compassion. Sorry, the companionship is very, very important, like the changing work, you know. We companion each other, we remind each other we are human. Even you practice decades, so what? You're still human, you're still here, you're alive, you breathe. So you will still eat, you still need to farm. So I say, okay, that's me. If I want to really move forward, I have to be honest with myself, with my coworker.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful, beautiful. That's hard to do. It's not always easy to be so
I
courageous.
know.
It's
Yeah, no,
easier to
I
hold
know.
those things close to our chest, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So that's, I really realized, oh, in the end, over this situation, I feel, actually, this 20 years practice helped me overcome that. Without that, I maybe really cannot.
Yeah.
I really cannot.
Well, there were so many good pieces to your chapter. For the viewers today, is there, anything else that we haven't talked about? One main message that you'd like to convey from your chapter?
Actually, I want to quote from my chapter.
Mhm.
It's the beautiful word from Thich Nhat Hanh. He said, if you do not communicate well with yourself, you cannot communicate well with others. When you
Mhm.
can truly listen to yourself, you can perfect from every moment giving you to live.
Mhm. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
You mentioned the phrase that the communicating, the being vulnerable, being adaptable, and establishing that mutual trust helps us all transcend boundaries.
Yes.
I really liked that phrase, transcend boundaries. Um, it's full of hope, inspiration, joy. And I love that as we circle back just to the topic, are we friends or coworkers, that So your feeling on that is I don't want to put words in your mouth, is what if somebody says, are the people you're working with, are they friends or coworkers? What would your answer to that be?
Why both?
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. And not so easy to keep it that way, right? And that's why these
Yes.
these things that you mentioned, setting the boundaries, communicating, establishing that mutual trust is so important so that we don't, particularly for your story, it was quite interesting. For many people, we become friends through work, right? And for you, for the first part of your chapter, you were already friends, and then, yeah, interspersing some work stuff. So it was interesting. I hadn't thought about that in reverse, so I really liked that.
Exactly, exactly. And also through this writing process, something really interesting happened because this friend we are really close, but after our life are changed, so I didn't get connect with them. I don't know how many years, decade.
Mm,
Because this chapter I am reliving in that period. I remember many details like my chapter was writing. I said, whoa, we are so close because
mm,
now I'm in Canada. I had a different environment, everything. I say, wow, I would love to talk with them because one of them is my ex-husband. So I really connecting with them. They say, where are you from? Come on. Then I'm really glad. I say, I want to tell you, I write our story that time. Say, oh, okay, you write whatever you want. But was like a really interesting for me. It's a really magic journey. I like it.
I'm so glad to hear that, to be able to circle back around. Why do you think that this topic is resonating so much with people right now? What is it today? What is it about today's work culture that makes that question of friends or coworkers so timely, do you think?
First of all, I want to talk about how I feel China and why's the culture. In China, everybody was very involved with each other. You know, whatever your family, your coworker, your boss, we have a really like an intimacy relationship, you know. But here, in seems like even the best friend, maybe we met once per week, even less. We don't talk that much. Like for me, I feel more distant, and
Hmm.
everybody has kind of a boundary, but still, like you jump. Sometimes you had a too close boundary, but sometimes you have a too distant boundary. So I feel like this topic, like people really want to be truly in themselves, but with the support, with the
Hmm.
connection. But
Hmm.
how can we don't get too messy? And how can we be supporting with each other? And this is really about the boundary and about how much you know about yourself.
Hmm. Well, there's
So
a lot.
very important, especially after COVID, you know.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Well, it's exciting that there's so much insight in this book with 24 different authors. And again, I really appreciate you sharing some snippets on yours to whet everybody's appetite to go get the book and read the full story. Before we wrap up, I want hoping that you can share how those who are listening can follow you or reach out to you.
Oh, yes. I think for this book, I open account at the LinkedIn.
Okay.
And also, I have my Facebook page and Instagram called Bean Space. So maybe you can search me from LinkedIn, and the LinkedIn will link you to Facebook.
And spell that out for us. What is the
It's a Bean Space, BEINGSPACE.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I really appreciate you sharing your valuable insights today and your powerful contribution to book number 3. Again, that's called Are We Friends or Coworkers? Exploring Relationships at Work, as published May 30th, 2025. Your chapter really did provide some key takeaways for us all to consider as we think about how we show up for one another as humans, not just coworkers. So for those listening, if you enjoyed this conversation, we invite you to explore our first 2 best-selling books, Leading with Self-Awareness, Starting from the Inside Out, and Leading with Compassion, Cultivating Connection from the Inside Out, available now on bookshop.org and Amazon as well. And if this conversation sparks something meaningful for you, please consider sharing it with your network and community. And if you'd like to connect with others on the journey to create more conscious, human-centered workplaces, we invite you to learn more about our growing community at changingwork.org. So thank you for being part of the movement to change work from the inside out, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, everyone.